when they are feeling
teams at that point of time. Big call as part of a
run scorer. We went all out to get him, and it.
एक और शख्सियत से मुलाकात करेंगे आईपीएल से जो जुड़े हुए हैं, उनसे बात करते हैं, शुरू करते हैं। जी हाँ, जैसे मैंने आप सबसे वादा किया था, we've got with us Dav Whatmore, the celebrated former coach of Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Zimbabwe, National Cricket Academy head of India, and also he was the coach of Kolkata Knight Riders and apart from other Ranji Trophy teams in India. Dav, thanks a lot for joining us on Cricket Chronicles with Chandresh. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, I am. Thanks, Chandresh, and good to be with you for a few minutes. Yeah.
Dav, just wanted to understand 2009, you were in Bangalore, heading up the National Cricket Academy in Bangalore. And how did the switch to Kolkata Knight Riders happen and who initiated the whole thing?
Yeah. Look, I'd been at the NCA for a couple of years at that point, and we were doing really well. I was enjoying it, and it was functioning pretty well. But sadly, there was decisions from up top in the BCCI that took a bit of our work away from the NCA, and I began to think, well, why are they doing this? Why am I here? And opportunities presented itself to move. I had an interview with the Mumbai Indians as well before, and then I was asked to come for an interview with Knight Riders, which I did. And that's how it all began, really. I mean, I was very happy at NCA. It was really good. Some of the work that we were doing, some of the good work was taking away. So I felt maybe, it might be good to explore other opportunities. But good experience, I can tell you.
And you also met up with Shah Rukh Khan at his house in Mumbai. And you presented a plan. I was reading somewhere that it was called Let's Turn It Around, because we all know what happened in the first 2 years of IPL for Kolkata Knight Riders.
Yeah, well, that's right. My plan's always been pretty simple. I'm not complicated. I'd wanted to treat the IPL group and squad like an international team, and you just manage the players the best you can. And it was another challenge for me, something that I look forward to and enjoyed. It was a lot different to what I had been doing, but it was quite memorable, really.
And I remember when you got appointed, you spent a lot of time after that in Mumbai. And remember that you used to go to the Red Chillies office. You spent a lot of time, and then you also spent a lot of time in Kolkata as well, training kids as part of the Cricket Association of Bengal.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, when I first was appointed, I was staying in Car, Bandra West Car, and I was going to the office in the city every day, Churchgate. And I was finishing early, starting early, finishing early. I thought, well, this it's the Kolkata Knight Riders, but I'm here. I was full time, by the way. This is the first time an IPL team or franchise has got a full-time head coach. And I do recall at that time, perhaps the relationship wasn't as great with the CAB. So here I am full-time. My time could be much better utilised, doing a little bit of extra work there with the Cricket Association of Bengal. And I do recall being able to, be sent over there by Jay Mehta. He thought it was a good idea as well. And I met Mr. Dalmir, and it all worked out really well. He was very pleased. I did a bit of work with their juniors in the off season, and it became a really good partnership between the Knight Riders and CAB after that.
And that particular season, 2010, when it came back to India, you brought back Saurav as captain, and Brendan, who was the captain in 2009, ended up being just a player, I think, because he also had international commitments. So, how was the working relationship with Saurav, because we know what happened in 2009 in South Africa. You had to do a lot of mending fences in that particular season, because a lot had happened in 2009, with blogs being written and team being divided. You brought everybody together.
Yeah, look, I was, as you know, I wasn't part of that second edition. And yes, up to that point, the Knight Riders didn't have a very good start to the IPL. They were pretty much languishing down the bottom of the table. And I had an inherited group, and Saurav came back as captain. It was didn't really a problem for me. Whoever was there, and I had to work with, and we really did gel. We got that team going a little bit. There were some, a few obstacles, a few hurdles to come over from time to time, like any team would have. They're challenges that you must manage. Um, and from that position, we took them into just missing out on the playoffs. We were equal, I think, with the fourth team on points, but our inferior run rate, meant that we weren't going to play in the playoffs. So it was a turnaround of sorts. A lot happier place. I remember Shah Rukh Khan telling me, "Thank you for making it a happier place." But yeah, we won our games. We didn't win enough to ensure a playoff berth, but we still were a lot better.
With such a limited time available for you as a coach, or for anybody as a coach at a franchise tournament, how difficult or easy is it to turn things around? Because that was the theme of your campaign when you took over.
Yeah, it was. As I said, an inherited group, some really big players in it too. Like anything else, players respond better when they're in a better frame of mind, when they are feeling, more content, and the trust issue is there, that that they will be rewarded. They will be given adequate chances. It was a whole range of those things that we tried to create to ensure that they are comfortable in that dressing room, and there was a very healthy environment for performance, a supportive culture, as much as possible.
And for someone like you who had worked with so many national teams at that point of time, uh, how different was that, in that sense, that first year being part of a franchise?
Well, it was a hugely different because everyone comes into there's a big melting pot. They come pretty close to the start of the tournament. You've got a whole range of different nationalities as well, and the challenge was to try and get them together. And again, I mean, generally getting a stick and wielding it, that doesn't work very often at all. So you know, an international team requires you to gel them together and create that very happy and supportive culture, and that's basically what I try to do. But the players themselves, I mean, the players themselves were played a lot more than I did, so I'm not going to go and tell them how to play. I just created focused a bit more on the management type of thing to ensure that they're in a good place. We had a good support committee as well, support staff that provided some good information and made it a happy place.
And then you took the big call as part of a wider group of changing things around when the big auction happened post the first 3 years of the IPL. And the big call was, one of the big calls was not to bid for Saurav Ganguly. Was that a tough call as a group for you guys to take?
Not really. It was a collective decision to put everyone back in the auction. We never retained one person, one player. So that was a decision that was collectively made. We're just basically wiping the blackboard clean, and we're starting again, which is fine. And it really proved to be a correct strategy.
And so you bid for someone like Gautam Gambhir, and that started a golden phase for Kolkata Knight Riders. Did you at that time think that you building a core which could serve Kolkata Knight Riders for a very long time? Because they did.
Yeah, yeah, very happy, Chandresh. Our plan was to go all out to get a leading run scorer, a leading Indian batsman to to take us forward. And depending on which name was drawn out of the hat, uh, earliest we would go for, and that was Rohit Sharma or Yuvraj Singh. It happened to be Gotham Gambhir, and we went all out to get him, and it cost over a couple of $1 million, but it was a very good decision.
And some other very good players as well. I think Brett Lee was part of it, Yusuf Pathan,
Yeah,
some very good
Jack,
players over there.
yeah,
Callis, yeah,
Jack
yeah.
Ellis came back in as well. We got back Manoj Tiwari, who was a local boy. We were able to retain a couple of youngsters, and that helped a little bit in in formulating a group of players that we knew will take the team forward.
And were you at all surprised about the fact that Gautam Gambhir seemed to be a natural leader in that particular season? He seemed to be coming into his own, and it seemed to be that it is his team. Are you surprised, or were you aware of his leadership qualities?
Oh no, we know how focused he is. I mean, I had a little bit of experience when I was coaching Bangladesh when he played. I think his first Test match could have been in Bangladesh for India when they toured um, in Chittagong, I think it was. I'm not sure, but anyway, yeah, he looked really focused, and in subsequent years, we all know his forthright approach on the field. He doesn't take a backward step, and that's also what was required at the time. And his natural ability to play, off the front foot, off the back foot. He was a very good player, a good stroke maker who's able to maximise that first 6 overs. Also, very astute. He was just the perfect captain for us, to be honest with you. And not forgetting at that point we had a new CEO in Venki Mysore. He took over, and he was also instrumental in coordinating and doing all the right things from the administration point of view and the financial side.
And you also brought in somebody you knew very well, Wasim Akram, as a bowling consultant.
Yeah, Wasim came in. He was there on the third edition too, from what I recall. So he was already part of that support group. Oh no, he wasn't, was he? No, he came in on the fourth edition. That's right. I think he was also interviewed for the position of head coach, but he came in as a bowling coach, and it was really good to have him there. Yes, I knew him, so that made it a little bit easier. Also, plus your physiotherapist, whom I've known for quite a while, and the strength and conditioner also from South Africa was really good. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Oh, you mean Lepus and Adrian LaRue?
Andrew Lepus and Adrian LaRue, yeah.
Yeah,
Plus
and
the
they've been
the
around.
athlete Cup, he was
Yeah,
also there. I knew
he's still there.
he's still there, yeah,
Yeah, he's still there.
and he's got an
So,
agent. One of the few analysts in the world has got a bloody agent working for him.
so I just want to understand when it comes to you coached in county cricket, you coached in franchise cricket. Uh, i- in a way, is it entirely different from say coaching in county cricket? Because is the culture different in that sense? Because you've seen both.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's a totally different format to county cricket. Since you mentioned that, comparing it to county cricket. In fact, county cricket in my first year, I had no idea what we were doing. I had absolutely zero idea, and it took me a year to turn things around there as well. I mean, we finishing third or fourth from the bottom in county cricket and didn't qualify for any of the other white ball tournaments. To missing out by 1 point again, I think it was against Leicester, who won the county championship. We won the Sunday League. We won the NatWest. We were semi-finalists in the Bensons, I think. So it was one of the best years in the history of that club in the second year, so I was told. But this IPL is totally different, and the contrast there is that, as I said before, there's so many different players that come from different countries that you need to be aware of and to try and to make it as comfortable as possible for them without without sort of giving them everything. You still got to. It was a case of certain standards. Meet those standards, please. We'll be happy. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. Just get out there and do your best and prepare in the way you need to prepare for performance.
Do you feel like a sculptor at times when you were with an IPL franchise, because you can build your franchise or squad the way you want to build it at an auction? In a way, you're like a sculptor in that sense.
Oh yeah, and you're not the only one that builds it. I mean, there's a team who builds it, and it takes a lot of work from my memory. You know, hours and hours of nutting out different different ways the team can be built depending on who you get. So you need to be very flexible and have so many, um, you know, different plans depending on how you begin to structure your team. It can change, you know, in one player if you're able to pick him up in the auction. So you know, it takes a little bit of luck as well, but a lot of hard work, Chandresh.
And those were early years of the of IPL and T20 cricket. So in that sense, you had very limited sample size as well to go by.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and the local Indian boys were, you know, um, very high price commodity because there weren't that many. Now there's so many good young players that are coming through that you've got options, and every year throws up one or two more of the young boys doing well. But in you know, in editions 3 and 4, particularly 4, you know, we were really, you know, hopeful to get good local Indian batsmen, Indian players. Now there's a lot more to choose from, but then it was a case of getting a little bit lucky as well in order to get those good local players because only can play 4 in the IPL, 4 foreigners.
And IPL 2011, you made it to the playoffs at the
Yeah.
fourth spot and lost out in the eliminator. But it was the turnaround that you had predicted.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I mean, our nemesis Mumbai beat us in the last game of the regular season, which meant that we weren't second, we were third, I think, and then we had to play them again the week, or not the week, just a few days later in the eliminator, and they beat us again. So you know, I noticed though this year that they beat in Mumbai twice, but over the ensuing years, Mumbai has always been a thorn for the Knight Riders team. But it's good to see them doing well this year, and they look like they may go all the way.
And just curious to know, after that, we would have hoped that you take the franchise to newer heights. Was it then a difficult decision to step away and get back on the
Yeah,
international
look,
cricket grind?
keep thinking back and looking back at that. Uh, Possibly, yeah, it may have been a mistake. I think I was a bit naive. Um, my time as a full-time head coach was going to be cut, you know, into a regular sort of 2 or 3 months, I guess. It's understandable, but I wasn't really sure. Wasim Akram was with me at the time and explained that the national team in Pakistan is desirous of a good coach. Would you be interested? And you know, I always like to be at that level also. So I walked towards it, and I finally got that job in the end. But you know, just before I left Night Riders, or Night Riders let go of me, I still hadn't had the job. You know, although there were some at the franchise who thought I've definitely got that position when I hadn't, and I had a very nervous, you know, 4 weeks without a job. But it turned out okay in the end, I guess. And you know, I left the Night Riders with a lot of good memories, and went on to Pakistan, which is also, you know, a big learning curve and a huge experience for me. But perhaps, yeah, perhaps I could have stayed with the Kolkata team. Yeah.
Did you speak to Shah Rukh or anybody before you left, or uh,
Yeah, no, it was Venki all the way. You know, Venki Mossel is my chain of command, isn't it? I mean, I'd rather not leap over him and go to the owner. You go through the chain of command, and he was. You know, I was very honest right from the beginning. I told him this is what is happening, and I'd like to walk towards it. You know, I was getting to the point where Pakistan weren't committing, and I was going to, you know, tell them that's it. Sorry, I'm staying where I am, but came a bit late.
and then Dav, you sort of set a trend. whoever became the Kolkata Knight Riders coach
Well,
went on to become national coaches of other team. Trevor Bellis followed you, Brendan McCullum, and now there is talk that Gautam Gambhir. Shah Rukh Khan might probably want to talk to you.
yeah, well, you never know, I guess. But that was. It appears as though there was a trend, but it wasn't intentional. Of course, Trevor Bayliss came and took my place, and inherited a very good squad. And with the addition of Sunil Nareen in that fifth edition, was the icing on the cake that enabled them to, I think, win their first championship. So the work was done. It was a collective amount of work, and Trevor Bayliss came and did a good job. He enhanced the place, and then got invited to go to England, which he had to take. Brendan McCallum came, did the same thing. Gautam Gambhir is looking like it, although he's not the head coach. He's a very good mentor of that team at the moment. And Chandresh Pandit, of course, very much a stalwart in Indian domestic coaching circles. He may also, eye that position. I'm not sure, but it looks like, or it has been the case, that people who come to KKR generally tend to move on.
So, do you still keep track of KKR performances every year, or are you not much of a watcher?
No, I follow, but I don't follow, very closely, Chandresh. I do follow, not just the Knight Riders, but everyone else in that IPL. I know that this year's been unprecedented totals, and all of that is directly as a result of the conditions you play in. Good wickets with short boundaries and fast outfields will always give you big totals. Puts a huge strain on the bowlers, and your extra batsman or extra bowler coming in as a playing condition in this second year, I think this is, isn't it? Your impact player, it really has had an impact in this edition of the IPL. So yeah, I'm watching with interest, and we got another big game coming up today, and the winner, earns the right to play in the final.
Dav, thanks a lot for giving your valuable time and talking to us. Hope to see you again in India in person, and hope to see you back in the IPL circuit very soon.
Oh, wonderful. Nice to talk to you, Chandra. Always nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
परफेक्ट। तो ये थे हमारे साथ डैव वॉटमोर, और भी लोगों से मुलाकात करेंगे आगे के दिनों में।